BlackRock's officials meet with the SEC Crypto Task Force to talk all things crypto ETFs. I'll give you the details. And Coinbase will be launching XRP Futures. This is very good for the approval of the XRP spot ETFs. And the Cardano Foundation launches a new digital identity platform. And there's huge adoption on the Avalanche blockchain with a massive industry building on Avalanche. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, the tariff turmoil continues. Over $3 trillion was erased from the stock market today. And overall, though, Bitcoin itself is holding up pretty strong. I'm actually very surprised by this, pleasantly surprised, because I thought Bitcoin would be tanking. But I think the stock market, which is more tied to businesses and the economy, is going to feel the pressure more because tariffs impact businesses, right? And consumer spending, while Bitcoin is a financial network, a store of value that is not affected so much by tariffs. Don't get me wrong, all markets are going to be affected by this because it depends on consumer sentiment and investor sentiment, because if they see uncertainty, and they don't like that. Markets don't like uncertainty, but I think Bitcoin's going to be less affected, and the crypto market as well. And overall, global liquidity is still up, and the dollar is still crashing down. So these are still factors that are conducive to bull markets and for bullish rallies. And when I look at the charts, guys, I look even at the S&P 500 on the daily RSI. All I'm seeing here is a retest of the oversold zone. And this is something we've seen before. So let's see what plays out. Could we find a bottom soon? Remember, markets don't go down forever, guys. Likewise, they don't go up forever. It's a cycle that plays out with sentiment, global liquidity, and much more. And people are going to be buying up the dips. Warren Buffett is going to be buying the dips on the stock market. He's been sitting on a ton of cash since late last year. So this is the patience game, and we got to get through this short-term macro situation with tariffs. It's annoying, to be honest, because it's back and forth, red light, green light, it's on, it's off. It's so annoying. In fact, Arthur Hayes, who I will be interviewing next week, said Trump's tariff formula is further evidence he's laser focused on reversing these imbalances. The problem for treasuries is that without dollar exports, foreigners can't buy bonds. The Fed and banking system must step up to ensure a well-functioning treasury market, which means BRR. Essentially, the money printer. Here is your narrative, clear as day, for the return of quantitative easing. Guys, we've been talking about it for a long time, right? I've been mentioning it in my newsletter nonstop, and I keep pointing you to this because this is what drives markets. Yes, on the micro, you have individual performance of different cryptocurrencies based on adoption and much more. Likewise, with the stock market, how a company performs, M&As, revenue, earnings, all that jazz. You guys know how it operates. But from the macro, it's all following global liquidity. I like what Douglas Bonaparte had to say. He's a registered investment advisor, and I've had him on the podcast. He highlighted, the major market crashes we've had in our history, going back to at least the 1970s, the oil embargo in 1973, Black Monday in 1987, dot-com bubble burst 2000, global financial crisis in 2008, COVID-19 in 2020, and now tariffs 2025. But he said, yet the market goes up. That's because the global liquidity goes up. The fiat currency debasement in printing goes up, guys. So I hope you understand the macro view here. Now, moving ahead, guys, we have news here that BlackRock met with the SEC Crypto Task Force. So journalist Eleanor Terrett is reporting a delegation from the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, met with the SEC Crypto Task Force this week to discuss the firm's existing crypto ETFs and the potential of allowing future in-kind redemptions and creations for them. Huge on multiple levels. First, BlackRock meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force. Despite all that's happening in the market, right? The turmoil with the tariffs, they're still meeting because they have a macro outlook. They know this is the future. It's still business as usual. We got to get our work done here. Two, what they're meeting about is really bullish because it's the in-kind redemption. So if you want to redeem your assets out of these ETFs, the crypto assets, it's not settled in cash. It will be settled with the actual asset. That is bullish, right? We want to get away from the cash aspect and to the actual assets themselves being part of the transaction. So very bullish. BlackRock's not slowing down. Just recently, I reported to you guys their expansion to the UK, expanding their Bitcoin ETF, launching their offices and things like that in the UK, specifically around crypto. It's amazing what is taking place. The world's wealthiest asset manager is not playing around here, guys. Now, we also got news that the SEC acknowledges the filing of Fidelity Spot Solana ETF. So Fidelity recently did this, and I think multiple altcoin ETFs will be approved this year. I think they're waiting for Paul Atkins to come into office. And in fact, we got news here that the SEC chair nominee, Paul Atkins, has been voted through the banking GOP committee. Next up in the process, his nomination will move on to the full Senate for a vote. I think he's going to get through, right? We got the most pro-crypto Congress here, guys. So I don't think there's any roadblocks here. So he's going to get through, guys. And I think he's going to help wrap up a lot of the loose ends from the Biden, Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren regime and their tenure and get some of these altcoin ETFs approved. Possibly we get the full confirmation from the SEC regarding the Ripple lawsuits. Now, on that note, with Ripple and XRP and ETFs and altcoin ETFs, Coinbase Institutional today said, we're excited to announce that Coinbase Derivatives has filed with the CFTC to self-certify XRP Futures, bringing a regulated, capital-efficient way to gain exposure to one of the most liquid digital assets. We anticipate the contract going live on April 21st, 2025. Stay tuned for additional details on launch timelines and availability. So, do I necessarily care for futures? No, that's usually used to short the markets. But what has the SEC needed in order for spot ETFs to be approved? We saw this with Bitcoin and Ethereum. They need the futures markets. This is the second futures markets that will go live. I think Binomial is the other one that launched about a few weeks back. So this is very good. It bodes well for the approval chances of the spot ETFs for XRP. And I think the SEC will do it. They'll do it for Solana. They'll do it for XRP and others, guys. And one of the things I've been telling you all about, it's not so much these individual ETFs and their performance, it's the basket ETFs, the index. Grayscale recently filed to have their large cap fund converted to an ETF. So that's going to drive a lot of inflows, in my opinion, because it's how the majority of investors, gain exposure to markets. They buy the index, they buy the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and much more. So this is really, really bullish for the chances of the XRP spot ETF to be approved. Guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Trezor. Trezor makes incredible hardware wallets that allow you to easily and safely self-custody your crypto assets. In fact, guys, they were the pioneers of the hardware wallets in creating the seed phrase, setup, and much more. So they're the ones that started it, and they've been at this since 2013. And I'm a user of the Trezor Safe 5 hardware wallet. It's beautifully designed, easy to use, and they have multiple devices. They also have a service that helps you to onboard and set up your device, and you can chat with a Trezor representative one-on-one. It's really great. So they have a lot of beautiful devices, and they support a ton of coins. Guys, of course, your major coins like your Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and much more, but a lot of new coins like Ondo and even BlackRock's BUIDL token, they support that. So the full list is on their website, guys. And they have a Trezor software suite, which allows you to easily manage your coins. So great hardware wallet, beautifully designed. I have a bunch of these, and they actually have a promotion going on right now called Satoshi's Birthday Special, 2-for-1 bundles plus up to 30% off, ends April 9th. So you got 6 days to take advantage of this. So guys, if you'd like to learn more about Trezor and their great hardware wallets, check out the link in the description. All right, folks, we got some interesting updates around Cardano. So Cardano's Foundation launches a quantum-resistant, globally interoperable digital identity platform, Veridian. This is interesting. And notice they said quantum resistant. So this is an open source digital identity platform, and it's intended for both individuals and organizations. Veridian uses open source key event receipt infrastructure, decentralized identifiers, and authentic chained data container. A lot of long words there. Credentials to verify identities and authenticate online communication according to a release shared with the block. Launching alongside Veridian is the Veridian wallet, which lets users manage their credentials, private keys, and identifiers. Here's a quote. "We believe your identity should be yours, secure, authentic, and under your control," Thomas A. Mayfield, head of decentralized trust and identity solutions at the Cardano Foundation, told the block. With Veridian, it is now possible to build quantum-resistant, globally interoperable, and enterprise-grade solutions for individuals and organizations. Veridian competes with other blockchain-based digital identity projects such as Whirl and Humanity Protocol, where both platforms collect an individual's biometric data to prove their humanity. So just so you guys know, the Cardano Foundation helps support the development of the Layer 1 blockchain Cardano. Veridian will serve as an optimal trust layer for the Layer 1 blockchain. So kind of like a Layer 2 or pseudo Layer 2. But guys, this is the future, and that is digital identity. We've been talking about the token economy. I've been telling you guys they're going to put everything on the blockchain. So will your IDs, your passports, your driver's license, all of that. And you won't have to carry multiple documents. It will all be on a digital wallet, and you'll be able to access different things. It'll be so seamless. But of course, as they highlighted here, it has to be quantum resistant. So as quantum computing gets more sophisticated and it progresses to a point where it's a threat overall, not just a crypto or blockchain, but the financial system and the way we've done things historically, this is where blockchains are going to have to become quantum resistant. And the developers and different folks are working on this, right? Because remember, sometimes people say, oh, what if quantum computer comes and shuts us down? Well, the same type of computing power that is generating the quantum computing, so to speak, that's going to be used to run blockchain validators and nodes and mining rigs and so forth. So people sometimes put blinders on. It's like, oh my God, right? It's as though the developers are not actively using the same technology. And look, if quantum computing is a threat, the last thing I would be concerned about is blockchain. The banks are going to be in trouble. Those are the institutions that have all the money, right? And they custody a variety of assets. So that we would have bigger problems, right? What if quantum shuts down our electricity grid or the traffic lights and all? We would have bigger problems, essentially is what I'm trying to say. But I think as the technology, quantum computing progresses, so will the infrastructure for blockchains and the infrastructure that powers our society and how we live and travel and all these things will be upgraded as well. So watch out for people who like to fearmonger and, oh my God, quantum is going to destroy all these things, as though it's exclusive to like one source. It's not available in different places where you can use the same technology, but I digress. But big news here for Cardano. Now, we've been talking about Avalanche. They've been getting a lot of adoption, guys. And Avax is a native token on Avalanche. I actually hold a token in my portfolio. Well, they tweeted out today, a $20 trillion global industry moves to Avalanche. Water, WATR, the blockchain infrastructure purpose built for a commodities market, is migrating to Avalanche Layer 1, bringing metals, minerals, food, and fuel into a composable and programmable future. Guys, I've been saying nonstop, the governments, the markets, and the economy will run on blockchain. I'm not bullshitting you. They're going to put it all there. And blockchain is going to power all these things, guys. So this is why this is an opportunity of your lifetime. We're still so early. So they said, while massive in scale, the commodities industry has yet to fully benefit from blockchain infrastructure that can enhance liquidity, broaden access, and drive innovation. The Water Protocol is building an on-chain foundation to redefine how commodities are financed, traded, and governed. Man, it's amazing what is happening. And the majority of people in the world are not paying attention. They're not doing their research. They're not reading up on stuff like this and seeing the big industries that are building. But this is the nature of markets, right? And those who take the time to pay attention are curious and go the next step of researching and educating themselves and taking a position in the market, of course, will be rewarded. Now, some interesting news coming out around Senator Ted Cruz. So he introduced a bill to incentivize entrepreneurs to use wasted natural gas to mine Bitcoin. Now, we know he's out of Texas. There's a lot of Bitcoin mining there. But what we're seeing is that the use of wasted energy and blow-off energy is now being used to mine Bitcoin. So I think once they put it into law that, you know, these energy companies can do this, you're going to see some of the biggest energy producers do this. And it makes sense. They can monetize that wasted energy and use it towards mining Bitcoin. It further secures the network, and they can get the monetization, right? Be able to mine Bitcoin, hold on to it if they want as a reserve asset, or sell it. That's the great thing about the decentralized network. Anybody can plug in and mine. So really big here for the energy sector. And once again, things like this, not getting mainstream coverage on CNN, Fox, and things like that, right? Majority of people are hyper focused on tariffs, and don't get me wrong, it is something we need to pay attention to, or they're hyper focused on celebrity news and this and that and gossip instead of paying attention to what the hell is happening here. Now, final news, which is really big in my opinion, and former Binance CEO CZ tweeted out about it. He said, Kyrgyzstan, crypto adoption, one country at a time, also brought a head of state onto X. So Kyrgyzstan is adopting crypto, guys. So head of the state, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, Sadir Zaparov. Okay, I butchered it. He says a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the National Investment Agency under the president of the Kyrgyz Republic and Changpeng Zhao CZ. In accordance with the memorandum, the parties intend to cooperate in the development of the cryptocurrency and blockchain technology ecosystem in the Kyrgyz Republic. This includes providing infrastructural, technological support, technical expertise, and consulting services on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies, as well as implementing educational initiatives. Huge. Guys, it is a global movement. Adoption's happening all over the world. Different countries are at different stages. Just the other day, I think I had shared with you guys about a month ago, Pakistan also was getting involved. You know, countries which you think wouldn't necessarily be focused on things like this, but this is the future. And I think a lot of these countries are recognizing it, and there's jobs here, there's revenue here, but just you can't get left behind here. You have to upgrade your systems and integrate blockchain in different ways with the government, with the economy, with the markets, right? So it's amazing what's happening here, and it's great to see CZ is offering some consulting here and helping to boost crypto and blockchain adoption. So huge news. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. It's on Substack. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my new course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that covers every aspect of crypto. Expand your crypto knowledge. Knowledge is power. And this course, what makes it unique and different from everything out there, guys, it features expert commentary from founders, CEOs, and institutional investors. So if you'd like to learn more, go to mycryptocourse.com. Guys, thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.